Has that worked? Are we live? I think we're live. It looks like we're live.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, yeah.
Are both the microphones working?
I think
Tap.
so. You shouldn't tap a microphone.
Fuck it.
2, 2, 1, 2, meow, meow,
I'm
meow.
a maniac. I'll tap a microphone if I want to tap a microphone.
Clearly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host for the day, Mr. Levi Clay, and I am here. It sounds like I'm doing a Guitar Souls episode, and of course I am not. I am your host for the day, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my wonderful girlfriend, Mrs. Melissa Kelly.
Mrs. Melissa Kelly.
All right, Miss Melissa Kelly. I just thought Miss sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Especially as my online name prior to being Levi Clay Transcriptions was Miss Treater Transcriptions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I had to change for multiple reasons. One, because you should brand yourself with your own name.
Sure.
And two, because Miss Treater makes you sound like a woman beater.
It's yeah.
And I am not those things, so it's a Racer X song, and another fun fact, I misspelled it as well. So,
the double whammy of just nonsense.
Incompetence.
Yeah. You said it.
Yeah, running on with the Guitar Souls theme of I can't read. So, James Taylor's online. How's it going? Lucas is online. Hello, guys. Are the microphones both working? Can you hear both of us talking? That is the real question. Let us know if those are working. They should be. I think they're working, but of course, this is the first time I have done one of these. I've done a live stream with two microphones going into one audio source. I think I've worked out how to do it. Fingers crossed it's working. So, please do let me know. Today we are going to be listening to the incredible Watershed by Opeth. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we do that, I thought we should talk about why I'm doing this and why I'm doing this with Melissa. Aside from just the opportunity to do a YouTube video with my girlfriend, which of course is fun. I wanted to do this with Melissa because for those of you that are familiar with Opeth, you will know that Opeth are progressive rock, progressive metal. They've certainly got a lot of kind of death metal influences in what they do. This album's kind of got some folky influences on it, and this couldn't be any further from the music that Melissa listens to. It couldn't be any further from the music that Melissa makes. So Melissa is a professional singer. She is a full-time singer, the best soul singer in the central belt of Scotland. I'm going to go the best. Oh, look at the arrogance on that.
Excuse me.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse you.
No false modesty here.
Incredible singer. You have to go and check out her band. Her band is Melissa Kelly and the Smoking Crows. I've talked about them here on YouTube before. I was going to say there's a link in the description, but of course there isn't a link in the description because I'm not organised. But It won't be hard to find Melissa Kelly and the Smoking Crows. You have an album called Devil's Luck.
Yep, we have an album called Devil's Luck. It's on all major streaming platforms. And also have a solo album, which you say that I don't listen to anything that even close to this, but to be fair, spooky music, as I would call it, is actually something that I do in my solo music all the time. So I have an album called Love Letters to the Master, which is again on all major streaming platforms. I'm sick of saying that now. But yeah, I don't want to get into it because I know we're going to listen to Opeth but spooky music's up.
Yeah, you kind of stole my segue because I was going to say you also have a solo album, and I prefer your solo music over the Crows because it's darker, it's spookier. Now, it's not metal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's certainly darker in theme. It sounds more moody. So this album by Opeth is definitely that darker, spookier vibe. So I knew there were going to be elements of this that you would enjoy, but of course then when you juxtapose that with the really heavy stuff, I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that you would dig, but from the snippets that we've played of this, you absolutely loved it. And I thought that was so unbelievably fun because hearing somebody, I hate reaction channels. I think they're cancerous, and it's worth pointing out for this for this entire stream, you will not be hearing the album, guys. If you want to listen to the album, there is a link in the description. Go and check it out on Spotify. Listen along with us. You will always be able to see where we are on the album, so you'll be streaming the music, right? And that way Opeth will be getting paid, and that's how fucking copyright works. Me just streaming Opeth's music over my live stream and then monetizing that would not be fucking legal. So why people do that and think it's okay is beyond me, and I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. I'm an Italian.
I was literally about to say that. You've changed nationality because you got so angry.
Shovel the pasta into your face. The pasta is now. Okay, I've killed her. She's dead.
Don't start that.
So respecting copyright. So yeah, listen along, you'll have a good time. But the point is, Melissa is a soul musician. She is an R&B musician. She does a lot of funk. She has absolutely no history whatsoever in rock and metal. It's just
No.
not a genre that you know absolutely anything about. If I said, name me 3 Metallica albums, you would say?
I wouldn't. And the thing is, it's not for I fully appreciate that there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of really amazing songwriting in metal and rock music. It's just that I was raised by 2 parents that only listen to Northern Soul, and that's just the music that I connect with. So yeah, I fully respect it.
Sure.
But I just don't listen to it much.
Cool. So before I read these comments out, I'm going to do my credits. Massive thank you to all of the names scrolling on screen right now. You can just pick random names out of that and say hello to them if you like.
Hi, Craig.
You guys are absolutely awesome. You keep this channel going. It's been a trying year, a very fucking trying year, especially with the COVID situation. But, the whole divorce thing hasn't been fun either. Yeah, it's definitely been a fun one. And you guys have made sure that I haven't gone bankrupt, which is lovely. So if you would like to join me on Patreon, there is a link in the description. Say another name.
Hi, Cliff. Oh, Cliff's a good name.
I like Cliff. We were watching Home Alone 2 yesterday, and Cliff is in that.
Cliff.
With
Little Mo with the gimpy leg.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lie. You can also check out one of my books on Amazon. The links are in the description. Please do go and check them out. It's a great way to support the channel as well. So what have we got here? Who's in the comment section? Hey, how's things? Read that. Everything sounds grand. Excellent. Woohoo. Sounds fine here in the Philippines. A very cute smile. Obviously, Malcolm's talking about me there.
Of course. Dreamboat.
Hey guys, what an album to choose. Yes, fantastic album. Lucas says, it's really hard for me to decide which album I like more, Ghost Reveries or Watershed. That's a really interesting point. So I love Ghost Reveries, and I think that the more you listen to Watershed, it'll be easier to get you into Ghost Reveries. I go between the two. I totally go between the two. Sometimes I prefer Ghost Reverie, sometimes I prefer Watershed. I think that Watershed is a better introduction to Opeth for somebody that's unfamiliar with them, because it's nowhere. I mean, probably some of the more recent ones that are less metal would be easier. But the point is, compared to like their earlier stuff like Blackwater Park, which is a lot heavier, Watershed is a really easy in to the band. Ghost Reveries is a little bit heavier than Watershed. So I probably prefer it for that reason. But yeah, I can see why someone might pick Ghost Reveries. And new guitar day next week. To have a good end to the year for James Taylor. I'm also waiting on a new guitar. My Brent Mason telly should be here. I mean, it should have been here 3 weeks after I ordered it, and then Guitar told me it will be here the last week of December, and we're in the last week of December, and I've not fucking heard anything. But just keep my money. Just fuckers. Pete Morris, how's it going, Pete? Hurry up and come up and visit. It would be it's a long time since I've seen you. Merry Christmas. Not heard this album. So very much looking forward. You'll love this album, Pete. Actually, you probably won't, knowing you. Pete is the guy that I mentioned to you that is the big singer with all the famous pals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a really good singer. Yeah. He's a very talented singer.
Metal singer?
Let's say powerful rock is the way I would describe him.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not a metal singer. That hates metal, actually. Not metal, but growly vocals, shouty vocals. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, those aren't his things. And actually, it's worth pointing out that Melissa is also like one of a top vocal teacher in Scotland, so she knows her shit when it comes to vocals. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on vocal techniques on the album. Anyway, so I'm going to start the stream just by telling you a little bit about the album. Watershed is the 9th full-length studio album by Opeth, released on Roadrunner Records, the first studio album to feature Frederick Ackerson and drummer Martin Axner. Is that? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Let's say yes.
Largely irrelevant, isn't it? To be honest, it's a pretty lacking Wikipedia page. There's not that much information on here. So not really much I can say. The version of the album that we are going to be listening to is the studio version. There is an alternate version with a few extra tracks on it. I'm sure it has a few extra tracks on it. Yeah, Special Edition has 3 more tracks, but of course we didn't want to have to listen to all the extra music because it's a relatively long album as is. It's 55 minutes long. So why make it longer than it needs to be? So I thought there'd be more for me to read on there, but apparently not. It's worth considering. I am a huge Opeth fanboy. I have travelled around the world and interviewed the best of the best in the guitar world, and I've never fanboyed quite like when I met Michael Ackerfeld. Sorry, didn't meet, was in his presence.
Were you not like 3 seats in front of him?
I was 1 seat in front of him in the VIP section at the Marshall 50th thing along many years ago, and I had just hung out with Malmsteen, walked in on Kerry King asleep, been chatting with Zach Wilde, had interviewed Paul Gilbert, was talking to, who else was there? Satriani was there. It's just, I said Malmsteen, like the biggest of the big. Fine. Cool, calm, collected, cracking jokes like I belong, and then I sit down to watch this gig and I turn around and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Michael Akerfeld's behind me. So I absolutely love Michael because I think he's a creative genius. Genius is a term that's banded around way too often, but I really do feel that about him. He's not a theory guy. He just picks up the guitar, picks up his instruments and plays around on them, fucks around until he finds things he likes the sounds of, and he puts those things together into these mental recordings, and they just, something about him really fucking speaks to me. He is not bound by rules, so yeah, that's just magic. So you hear all these weird twisty sounds that don't come from more conventional, traditional modes of the major scale, etc. It's a whole host of influences that he's taking, and they're oral influences rather than academic influences, and I admire that so much so that I've taken the spirit of that, and I've never learned an Opeth song. I've never learned anything Opeth have ever done, and I will always keep it that way because they are
Did
good.
you talk to him?
I didn't. No,
not at all.
Didn't want to ruin his night with my presence. You know.
So wait, were you just sitting there like?
Yeah. Didn't want to look behind in case I burst into flames.
Just being a wee creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shovel the Michael Akerfeld into my face. The Michael is now. Unpopular opinion here. Favorite Opeth album is My Arms. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think the beautiful thing about Opeth is all of their music sounds very different. Not hugely different until you get to Heritage, which is where they suddenly became a prog band, like a 70s prog band. Yeah, I think things went. I don't think any of the albums post Watershed are bad. I think they're just a very different direction, and it's maybe not the direction that I wanted them to go in. But yeah, Watershed and before is good. So yeah, My Arms Your Hearse. I could see why people would make that argument. Yavor is online. How's it going, man? So he's a genius. Does that say faux perf? I don't really know what that means.
Opeth.
Oh, okay, yeah. I get you now. Faux pef, as in fake Opeth.
Oh.
As in the more modern Opeth, the heritage, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't really your cuppa. I follow you now, Yavor. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't tend to reach for those albums. These are the ones that I'm reaching for. Anyway, so I'm going to do this. So you will always be able to see what track we are listening to, where we are on the track, etc., etc. Please do go to the link in the description, check it out. Listen along with us. I'll start in a couple of minutes, so you've got time to go and cue this album up and have fun with it. Tired but not bad. Yeah, I'm pretty good, Yavor. Yeah, time is ever escaping would be my way of looking at things. I'm disappointed that it's 2:30 in the day already. You know what I mean? Because I've got to teach at 7 o'clock, and could be like sitting and eating roast potatoes and shit, which would be nice.
Roast potatoes.
And we still need to go and watch Soul.
We have to finish watching Soul.
Watching Soul. So I just got excited about the idea of doing this. Anyway, so I am going to start this album in a minute with the track Coil. I'll give you a countdown. Make sure you are ready. Any remarks that you want to give everybody before we start?
More that I'm just very excited, but also I really like that you do the listening parties this way. As someone who is on Spotify, the idea that there would be some kind of reaction video out there to something that I had put onto Spotify, playing my music without asking me or anything like that, pisses me off. So yeah, it's cool. And if you really, really love it, stream it when you're not on Spotify on mute and give them more streams.
Yeah. Run up your electric bill. Why not? I think what you were meant to say there when I said, is there anything else you'd like to say? You were supposed to say patreon.com/Levi Clay. That's. Got to keep these fucking lights on somehow, haven't I?
Sure.
Yeah. It's funny you make that point there about artists appreciating what I do. What I find with these listening streams is, and this is the problem with the music industry just in general, right? Consumers hate what I do here. The consumer hates this because they hate that they have to go on Spotify and actually stream the album along with me. It's a massive inconvenience, and they just want to be able to listen to it as part of the stream because they don't care about copyright. Whereas I'm relatively confident that if I sent this to Michael Akerfeld in Opeth and said, hey, what do you think about what I'm doing? he's going to say, fucking great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry on. Because currently we've got like, there's only 25 people watching right now. But right now, if this channel was fucking massive, if all the big YouTube channels in the world were doing things like this, and they had 10,000 people watching their streams, who were then going to Spotify to stream an album together, the artist is actually fucking making money. So it's the right way to do it. Ross, how's it going, mate? Love this record so much. Wish I could hang. Oh, you got ahead, man. That's a shame. But long time no see, mate. Long time no see. Okay, I am going to play this album in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Jeez.
3. My timing's terrible.
Oh, so terrible.
2, 1. I'm as bad as the average drummer on the band scene, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I should actually do a normal countdown so people know where we are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy. I just want to zoom in on your face for this whole thing because I know you're just like... What's the best record, Ross? I can't believe that I skipped over this thing. Melissa's also has a master's degree in songwriting, so I'm interested in her thoughts in the songwriting aspects of things as well.
We'll just throw that away there. Like, just a master's.
Well, it is in a music related. It's like my degree in music is worthless. Doesn't matter how hard you work to get it, it's still worthless. Sorry.
Fuck you.
So comments? It's folky, it's not heavy.
It's folkier than I thought it was going to be.
A little embellishment in the guitar there of the harmony that comes in. Beautiful. I don't know how I feel about the female vocal on this.
It's a bit sickly sweet.
Oh, Craig Struthers is online. How's it going, man? Craig's one of my magic guys.
Ah, hi Craig.
Fabulous taste in music too. I love the arrangement of the additional instruments coming in for this. It'd be hard work doing stuff like that when you have no music theory knowledge.
That blows my mind. Yeah, I'm not nuts about the female vocalist.
I like the idea of, you know how much I love misheard lyrics, teasing you about yours. I like the idea there that it's the fields of Zorro.
I want to hear it again. Is that a field with a Zorro in it?
No, fields
Or
owned
fields-
by. Oh, you're talking about fields of many Zorros. I was just being normal. You
Oh, excuse me.
okay? Heavy. Oh, a bit of syncopation. When you know no music theory, you can play horrible chords like that and go, I didn't know any better. Fucking dark as shit. All that needs is a bell over the top of it. You know what I mean?
It's a stank face one.
Well, fucking stank face it then, bitch.
Stank face it then, bitch.
Eat a fuck. Yeah, you're into that. Was that like, all right, hands up, I submit,
so,
take me now?
It's so creepy, and I'd ruin my life. And I don't like loads and loads of reverb, but I'll marry that reverb.
Oh, you
right
need
now.
it. You like everything dry as a rich tea biscuit, but that wouldn't be spooky. Ah!
Yeah. I'm starting to understand the stank face thing for this kind of music outside of soul.
So you can give us the difference between growl and fry.
So Fry uses false chords, and it's a far thinner sound, and it's healthier sound. You can make a healthy growl sound, but a lot of singers don't, and that's where damage happens. A growl's a lot thicker. That sounds like Fry, though, part of that.
The riff underneath this is... Well, those notes ringing into each other. It's just beautiful. And you're starting to get the dissonance coming in the background. That overdub. I'd love to write riffs that sound like Opeth, but to me it's like writing stuff that sounds like Steve Vai. You can't do it because only Steve Vai sounds like Steve Vai. If you write stuff that sounds like Opeth, it just stands out.
You know too much music theory.
Yeah. Oft. But to be fair, when it came to writing my album, I threw away all of the theory to do it. I put myself in drop D and I fucked around until I found chords that I like.
Yeah.
And that was much better than thinking. So I get it with this. You know, I could kind of take it or leave it with leads on Opeth albums. Flute's coming now? Is it flutes now?
Okay. I can't decide if the flutes have made it creepier or not.
Creepy as fuck riff.
This is the stuff that really gets me up in the morning.
The summoning Satan.
Yeah.
Question for you: would this be not necessarily more enjoyable, but would you get more benefit out of this if I brought the lyrics up for you?
Yeah.
We could do that.
But I think the thing that I like so far is that the lyrics don't appear to be just jammed in a driving force to just make space for more instrumentation.
Yep.
So many metal bands that you've let me listen to, I feel like the lyrics are last on the list of things to be created because they're sort of unimportant. It doesn't feel like that here.
So I do have the lyrics up here. I'm not sure where we are in this song, but I'll keep them up for you for Lotus Eater onwards.
I'm just sad
lyrics are super important to you. Yeah.
I'm just sad they didn't go back to that piano far away on a mountaintop.
Yeah, this is the inevitable prog thing of constant new ideas, keeping you guessing. I'm trying to work out where we are. It just highlights how important the music is on this for me, because this album's been out for 12 years. I don't know a single lyric on it. It's never mattered. Because it's just, it's atmosphere, it's vibe, it's... Yeah.
Sure.
Procession of woe struck down by sorrow.
Perils before swine, they are nothing but blind. Like, even if you look at that, the lyrics as they are, there's meter there.
Sure.
It's insane meter.
It actually annoys me because looking at those lyrics, some of the lyrics there, like there's some really great lyrics there,
Yeah.
and I've let myself down by not really immersing myself
Yeah.
in this album.
But that's what I mean. The way the album started, the lyrics were obviously really, really important.
Fair. Or a bit of chaos. We go back to the flutes and the acoustic guitar. Is that right? Oh no! No, we go into the heavy melody that just repeats to fade. That you haven't heard until this point in the song. I have to say, probably doesn't need it. You know, you're 7.5 minutes into your song. If you're introducing a new idea now, which you're just going to play to fade, like...
Also, this idea feels like it got to the end of the song and it's like they've went for a run and now they're exhausted and tired, so just going to walk the last mile. Still pretty, though.
Sure. This is the sort of thing that I would put in a song to have a massive solo over the top of. And
Yeah.
there is no solo. They're just going for mood. Lucas needs to go for a walk with the dogs. Listen to the rest offline. All right, brother. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're well. Hope you've enjoyed your holiday.
Bye, Lucas.
Okay, so we're heading into Lotus Eater, which I think is the best song on the album. It was the lead single, I'm sure. I know you love the start of Lotus Eater.
Do you?
Yeah. Is this my take me?
I want to be raptured immediately.
Okay. Enjoy the lyrics. It's funny because I think when you listen to this and you read lyrics and you hear someone growling, it's very apparent what they're growling, but
Yeah.
without the lyrics you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
But you have to defend the growls on things because you couldn't sing those lyrics and it have the same impact. It needs to be the aggression.
But it does it incredibly well because even though I don't necessarily understand it when I've not got the lyrics,
Sure.
I can still hear a melody underneath the growl.
Yep. So this section of the song now, we have all the syncopations in this riff. Bah. Super cool.
That seemed like a really strange transition to have in there.
Someone, Cristiano, said Opeth transitions are a bit weird sometimes, but I dig it. But to be fair, the lyric there is you are stuck in a root of confusion, and you are. Best part of the album. Impending sense of dread.
This is my tinnitus.
I don't like how it
digging.
transitions, though. All of the voices but two drop out, and then...
The way he changes the meter between the melodic singing and the growl is really clever. Because he's basically going from ba-do-do, da-do-do, 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 da-do-do to ba-do-da-ba-ba.
Pete, fucking hell.
What is it?
Pete's hanging out of his arse. I think someone's hanging out the back of Pete.
Oh, Pete. Drink more, you'll feel better.
Yeah. I'd like to do some analysis into the story that's going on here, what is being told, because I would make the assumption that the juxtaposition between the shouting and the sung parts are the perspectives from two different positions.
Yeah. Or the outward thinking and the inward thinking.
Sure. The voice on your right shoulder and the voice on your left.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're just overanalyzing.
You cannot overanalyze lyrics. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Well, I'll bear that in mind when we sit and do a listening party for Steel Panther. Gangbang at the old folks' home.
Yeah.
What was what are the great lyrics in Gangbang at the old folks' home that you loved?
Oh,
Two lips on my bone. What came before that?
something about 1 foot in the grave, two lips on my bone.
Yeah, 1 foot in the grave, 2 lips on my bone. So please continue to analyse those lyrics.
Well, you see, it all started in 1899. No.
Still the same song? Spooky?
I want spookier.
Spookier?
Yeah.
By that you just mean more reverb?
No. Because some of the harmony that he used for some of the piano piece and in the first track was darker than this.
Other thing I dig about Opeth is Michael going on record as saying that he doesn't believe in detuning guitars. Like,
Okay.
he's going to do... and there are actually examples, like there's a couple of moments on Ghost Reveries where he's in open D minor, but he's not one of those guys that's just going to get a guitar, 7-string, tuned down super low to make something heavy. He thinks that if something's heavy, it's heavy in standard tuning as well. So
This is distilled madness. Also, if you want something to be dark and heavy, you should be able to do that with harmony, not with
sure.
detuning a guitar.
If you take something that's a little bit heavy and detune it, it will be heavier.
Yeah, okay.
But you should be able to change the original idea and not detune and make it heavier just by the way you write. So James says that Opeth sound like they have bits of very different songs spliced together. That's inherently quite a prog thing.
Yeah.
A progressive thing. Stuff like this excites me because it's like you're always on the edge of what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Love it. A Smoke of Lost Hope.
That was really cool.
Why?
Just the way that he opened up his mouth there, and then like he went from the last lyric talking, but then fully opened up his mouth into like just a guttural. That.
So Shut Up, Let's Talk says it took him a year to appreciate when it came out. When this album came out, I didn't really dig it. I wasn't hugely into Opeth when this album came out. I got it when it came out, and I was like, yeah, I guess it's fine. I listened to it a couple of times, but it didn't really grab me. It was a good 3 or 4 years after it came out that I went, wow, you know what? This is fucking great. This is really good. And it's because of the more death metal influences. I wasn't into the death metal. I'm still not into the death metal thing, to be fair. But now I can take the death metal influence as a flavour in something rather than it being the main ingredient.
I have listened to a lot more death metal stuff that you've obviously let me hear, and it's way more accessible than I thought it would be, just purely because.
Oh no, you've not, because I don't listen to a lot of death metal.
Okay, metal then.
Sure.
Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Death metal is a very specific subgenre of.
I'm just showing. Yeah.
Like death metal, I can kind of get on board with, but obviously there's so many subgenres of metal. Like you couldn't pay me to sit and listen to black metal. It's just not. It doesn't. I hate it. It's the vibe of it. It just isn't for me. Death metal, there's like a connection that I can kind of make to it. I really like melodic death metal, which again is not. I'm not just saying death metal that is melodic. Melodic death metal is a subgenre in its own right. I really like the Anthems of the Rebellion era Arch Enemy. I'm into that. Anyway, I'm just talking over this now. How do you feel about his voice?
I really like it. It's kind of it sounds like he's doing the best thing a vocalist can do, which is to have their vocals be just above their talking voice.
Okay.
Which means that you're probably mixing a hell of a lot.
Okay.
But that makes it sound really lush and warm. Because the best singers can recreate all the sounds they make anywhere in their range with the volume is just above their talking voice.
So I probably shouldn't sing up here.
No, you should not. He's mixing so heavy there and it sounds beautiful. And I guarantee you if we were in the studio there, he would be just above talking volume.
It's just occurred to me I'm not on the... The thing you have to remember, Yvonne, and I make this point on the podcast all the time, right? I am not a metal guy. I'm just not a metal guy. Yeah. Is that you celebrating me not being a metal guy or just organ?
There's an organ. You had me at organ. Oh, excuse me.
I'm a blues guy, I'm a country guy, I'm a jazz guy, I'm a soul guy, I'm a funk guy. I grew up around, people that listen to a lot of metal, so I have listened to a lot of metal, but it's something that I heavily grew out of. I don't really listen to any new metal. I don't mean the genre new metal, I mean like anything new. All the metal that I do listen to is things that takes me back to being young.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my youth. And I should be clear, trust me, I have given black metal a heavy go, like a really fucking heavy go. And the reason I say that is because one of the original guitar solos, Kendo, my old friend Kendo, he is super into black metal. Like he fucking lives for black metal. And he's constantly just like trying to get me into stuff, and it just doesn't do anything for me. The closest I came is, and it's not a black metal album, but Isan did the album I. Is that an Isan album? Sure that he did that album, which is more of like a black metal rock and roll album, like black and roll.
Black and roll.
Yeah,
I'm in.
yeah. That album's pretty cool. I like that bit. So, good question here. Would you consider Opeth metal?
I personally, I would probably listen to parts of it and go, "Oh, that's what I would consider metal." But then again, my only experience of things like prog are from my brother's listening when he was a teenager,
Sure.
and that was, I mean, he had stuff like Yes in there, so it's like old stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily think of them as being a metal band, but they've got a lot of metal elements. So you would have to have enough of appreciation of metal to dig it. I think if you the test for this would be if you took this record in a time machine back to the 1970s and gave it to somebody who listened to Yes, are they going to like this?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say no, because there's too much metal in it.
Yeah.
But likewise, I think if you took it back and gave it to, I was going to say Sabbath fans, but actually I think Sabbath fans would probably really like this. But you know what I mean? Like Metallica fans in the 80s, if you gave them this, they're going to be like, this isn't metal. Love that melody. Da 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 da. I dig the guitar tone on that actually, because it's like it's still an electric guitar with distortion, but it's not super heavy distortion on that. You can hear some of the natural tone coming through. Oh, this is the part that's going to make you go.
Okay.
There was a glorious moment there where almost all the strings were in tune, but in a different key from where he started. A happy accident.
This is what my mental health sounds like if I'm overworked. Oh, I thought that was him laughing there for a minute.
It was. It laughs and then it samples and loops.
Oh.
Okay, on to Porcelain Heart. This is a fucking banger of a tune. Not necessarily musically. This is a banger of a tune because of the juxtaposition between the heavy and the not so heavy, but the delivery of the lyrics in this is glorious.
I love the harmony already.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's also an 8-minute song, so...
Fucking love that.
Can you see those lyrics? I don't know if the mic stands in the way for you. Or
No,
not.
no, I can see
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I love the lyrics in this. These ones, I don't know them, but you know the vibe.
I love this. It's beautiful.
So we've got a couple of people coming in saying that this is their favourite Opeth album. It's a great album.
Have they doubled up the kick now? That it's
Doubled the
so from the start for this part, it feels like they've doubled up the kick.
kick drum.
Yeah. No.
No. No, I've never learned any Opeth. Now, well, obviously, we'll get to mix this up. We'll do a following up listening party at some point when you
Yeah.
get to pick an album.
Oh, on your head be it.
Oh, fuck, we're listening to Tom Waits, aren't we?
Yes. All the Tom Waits.
Or Nick Cave.
Oh, Abattoir Blues.
So how do we feel about the lyrics on this?
I love call and response. I will always love call and response. It does feel like a lot of his writing is an internal and an external view of things.
Sure.
Like the things he says and the things he thinks.
Dry as a rich tea biscuit.
That's what I want. Give me dry as the Sahara.
Craig Struthers is a Tom Waits fan.
Oh,
Melissa's a huge Tom Waits fan.
huge Tom Waits fan. I have a problem. I need to
Oh,
sit
and you've
down
always
with
a Tom
someone.
Waits fan. Okay.
See? Okay, please.
After his second puberty.
Everyone has to tell Levi that we should do Tom Waits next.
I have no problem doing Tom Waits stuff.
I feel like Dead Gone would be a good one to do.
I don't know why you're attracting your messages, for.
Maybe he was talking shit about Tom Waits. We're insufferable.
I know. Connor, how's it going, brother? This is Connor that sent us the Philip Schofield clip last night.
Connor, what was... I mean, if you were having some kind of drunk episode, I'm proud of you.
He's Irish. I think his life is one drunk episode.
Sure, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, because of typos. Right. Yeah, I won't talk too much about Tom Waits more while listening to Opeth, but I have no problem doing Tom Waits listening parties if you want to hang out and do some of those.
I think that's the reason that I find this stuff accessible, because there's lots of stuff that I'll listen to in Tom Waits music and Nick Cave music for that matter. The harmonies are very close to what's going on here, and some of the lyrics.
Yeah, I can't help but think that I can easily imagine, even though there's like huge differences between the two, I can imagine Nick Cave and Michael Ackerfeld sitting down and talking about music and having long conversations about music.
Especially because it would be really interesting, because Nick Cave's attitude towards songwriting is a work ethic. He sits down at 9 o'clock, he finishes at 5 every single day. Whereas Michael's obviously far more, I imagine, I'm making some general sweeping statements, but it's all about messing around and inspiration and finding things.
Right.
Whereas Nick Cave,
Sure.
it's...
Ghost of an idol's false embrace.
That's a great lyric. the only weird thing about some of his lyrics is he puts the emphasis on words that are, I would consider, less important. I lost all I had. I would put the emphasis on lost. I lost all I had.
Fair.
Because more evocative word.
So who else was? So it was Yvonne and Craig were talking Tom Waits. So if you were to listen to Tom Waits albums on listening parties, which ones would they be? And let's see if Melissa agrees.
So excited.
I'd just do this album again. Just
Are you taken by the music?
What?
Taken by the music.
Yeah. It's really hard to hear what you're saying when you're talking at me, not at the mic. Don't you do this for a living?
Don't make me karate chop you on your own live stream.
In the throat. Helping me digest my food.
Like the duck that you are.
So I think that song's a winner. But again, it's the comments about like changes in shift. That it could have been 2 songs because the first half of that has a total vibe. The second half has another vibe. I've not done enough analysis into the lyrics. Like there could be certainly like it might need to be one song in terms of like what it's going for, what he's trying to say.
If the first part of that song were just its own song of Porcelain Heart, that would have been my favourite song on the album.
Craig says Book of Knots.
Book of Knots.
But he's talking about guest appearances. And that Craig might not necessarily be into his own stuff. You know what's in this song that just absolutely kills you?
What?
Bit blues? No place for blues on an Opeth album, thank you very much.
I love that because it's bringing music right up to the point of being like completely dissonant, and out of key, but not, which is so clever.
I like. Will the children cry when their mother dies, and in the autumn of their lives will they feel the same?
That is a glorious lyrics. I also love. He's done it a couple of times on this. He talks about relationships between fathers and sons, and mention brothers. Just mention all these different relationships. But sometimes when he's talking about it, it feels religious.
Right.
I also like that. Taking religious ideas of talking about relationships between brothers, mothers, fathers, changing the meaning of it.
Rain Dogs, Small Change, or Heart Attack and Vine.
Like,
I know Mike talked about Heart Attack and Vine.
Heart Attack and Vine is awesome. I think out of Rain Dogs, Small Change, and Heart Attack and Vine, I think Rain Dogs would be my favourite. Small Change is very beautiful, but I love the
reverse lyrics here. I see you, my sweet Satan. Come back tonight out of the courtyard.
I don't know how I feel about reverse lyrics.
Well, you know what? We'll have to get this on vinyl now.
So I just feel like reverse lyrics are for a bunch of people that are baked.
Pretentious wankers. This is progressive
just
music, right?
Baked at home with a vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a difference between listening to every song that you know backwards to try and find things that could be interpreted reverse, and that which is actual reverse lyrics. There are reverse lyrics on the Hellcat Molly album.
Oh.
Yeah. Behind one of the bridge section, there's Dave saying congratulations to Lee, who just had a baby.
Oh yeah, you told me about that actually.
On the song Hunter, because his son's called Hunter. So
That's
we dedicated
cute.
that song to Hunter. This album just feels like such a journey. It's like it covers so much, and not like we were listening to Jimmy Herring earlier, where it's like it's a journey, but because it's scatterbrained, it's like this bit of that. This is like it never feels like it's ventured from the album. It always feels like these songs work together. Maybe not from verse to verse, but in terms of overall vibe of it, I think it gels really well.
Also, if I were looking at these lyrics and I hadn't heard the music, the structure that he's used on it is kind of jazz.
Sure. Tell people what you mean by that.
Well, because he's went for like 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines, and then in the section in the middle, he's went for a much longer meter of a shorter amount of time. And that's kind of, you get that with things like Georgia on My Mind, Bewitched, Bothered and Bewildered, Don't Get Around Much Anymore. All those tracks, all those songs, jazz songs do that. They have a straight 4 meter for like 3 verses and then have a longer meter for a sort of mid-length bridge type thing. He didn't do that anywhere else. Everything else is insanity.
That is a Haggard piano.
I love a Haggard piano. I want the piano to sound like it's being pushed down the stairs.
We'll push our piano down the stairs.
Don't do that.
It's no good as a digital piano.
No.
I'm sure there's a Haggard piano mode on it. The signal for us to enter. It's gone dark. It feels a bit clumsy.
All right.
Forcing in that.
Yeah. I'm a stickler for phrasing.
I think if I was to criticise something about Opeth's sound, it's that their riff writing style is so unorthodox.
Yeah.
The vibe of the riffs is so unorthodox. But when it comes to lead guitar stuff, it's so rooted in traditional high technique rock guitar playing. And so I always just feel like it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
It's too conventional, the lead playing.
And then there's been huge swathes of songs, I think on Burden, at the end of Burden, where there's no solo at all, no lead at all, for like a long time. I wonder what the decision-making process of that is.
A bar 4 and a bar 6.
2,
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Back to 4 now. So forcing in that bar of 6 in that verse just to fit the vocal. Don't get more prog than that.
I mean,
That acoustic guitar overdub on that is really nice. The melody on the acoustic guitar.
I want more of. I mean, the problem is I just want a different album. Really, that's what. There's a great album, but I like when I hear those little bits of acoustic and piano. I'm like, I want more of that. I love this.
Falling into hell. Being drag me to hell. This is your gypsy heritage right there. Just
it's my
button in the pocket.
It's my greatest ambition in life. To give someone a good
to
dollop
drag someone to hell.
Gypsy justice.
And we're getting right near the end of the album now. We've got like 10 minutes left. So. But 10 minutes in Opeth time is a long time.
I mean, surprisingly,
we're
has
probably
not
going to hear
failed
like
it.
150 ideas in that time.
I'm just really tempted, or sort of interested to find out how the hell they're going to finish an album, because it's like that thing you get mad at me when I shuffle things.
Oh, fucking heathens! How many of you out there listening to this stream listen to Spotify on shuffle? All right, a playlist, but I won't listen to playlists because when I listen to music, I want to hear a fucking album. This maniac puts she's so progressive, she'll put a fucking concept album on shuffle.
That's not true. I mean, it's a little bit true. I'll only shuffle sometimes if I'm like doing other things, but if I'm giving it my full attention, if it's an album, proper concept album, I will listen to start to finish.
Yeah, Damnation has a lot of piano on it.
Yeah.
The Opeth album.
Be careful.
I could. Oh no. I'd hate to damage my voice and not be able to sing anymore.
You sing all the time.
Yes, but not on anything. Did you know I can't sing lower than a G? That's a G, right?
He can sing lower than a G.
I cannot. You've tried this. We almost got an F sharp once. Oh, spooky shit.
Concept album on shuffle. Now that's prog. You're right. That is prog. I'm more prog than I thought I was.
Accidental prog. You should write an album called Accidental Prog.
Yeah.
Where you write a concept album and then you shuffle it when it comes to the track listing. Okay, heading into Hex Omega.
I want this to be filthy, disgusting, and dark as fuck. That's what I want.
I think just looking at the lyrics, you can probably tell that the song's going to be in 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
With your 3-liners and your 5-liners.
Yeah. Mm.
It's spooky. It's kind of spooky.
I want spookier.
Maybe spooky is not the word that I'm going for. This is unsettling rather than spooky. Because there's that like, what's going to happen? You know, it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
that the storm's coming.
Yeah.
Or is it? Okay, no, so it's not. It's
No, it's
We're now just going for 5 lines.
which is so weird.
That's a fair point, Craig, actually. So I read that, and it wasn't until you said that I just listened to those strings there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those aren't real strings.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Nothing gets you like a Rhodes.
Yeah.
Well, a Hammond.
But it's bizarre that they've. Where are we?
Halfway through the song. Obviously.
Of course. That's.
Just giving people the sound of a scratchy beard. That's drums that Tony could get on board with.
Yeah. Practically between between the Hammond and the drums, that's practically a Crows song.
Again, go check out Melissa Kelly and the Smoking Crows.
There's like that wash of like xylophone or something in the background. I don't know what it is, but it's really beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
Sure.
that's Twin
like
Peaks
mallets.
spooky bullshit right there.
Yeah. That's the last lyric on the album. All the reverb.
No.
Let's build to a big epic end for the album. Look at us, both bobbing our heads. Stank faces, engaged. Fucking insufferable cunts.
I don't fucking care.
Most YouTubers, oh, my videos get demonetized. Me, fucking cunts. Bring it on.
What?
What?
That's how the album ends.
Ended like a church song, like the end of a hymn.
Huh.
Huh. Huh. Right, I'm just going to run my credits while we talk about that. Thank you very much, or while you get your thoughts together on that. Thank you very much, you wonderful supporters over on Patreon. Link in the description if you want to check me out. You can support the channel for as little as $1. Gets you access to my private Facebook group. You can get your name in the credits. Download transcriptions, of course, part of my transcription challenge group. You can join my monthly study clubs. I've not done one this month, actually. I still need to do one of those. And you can, of course, get private one-on-one lessons with me, which all of those $50 guys do, because y'all like learning stuff, and that's cool. If you don't want to do that, that's, of course, absolutely fine too. You can head on over to the link in the description and check out one of my books. There's 6 on screen there, but, of course, I have several more, because I've written a lot of books. Because, you know, Daddy's got to keep the lights on. Daddy's got to keep a roof over his head. So, yeah. How did you feel about that?
I really love the album. It's of the things that I hear of your taste in music. It's one of those ones that I would actually go and listen to my own if you were not there.
Okay.
I have no idea why they ended it like that. I feel like the first 3 tracks were so up my street,
Sure.
fully up my street, and then went to my street adjacent by the end of the album. I think my favourite part of the album was Porcelain Heart. The first 2-3 minutes of Porcelain Heart were fantastic.
Right.
You could scoop that out and tell me it was a new Tom Waits inspired artist, and I'd be like, brilliant. I'll buy every piece of vinyl he now has out. Yeah, I would have totally loved to. I love it when, and I don't think it's exclusive to any genre, but I love the bookmarking of an album like that, and perhaps bookmarking some of the ideas and harmonies that happened at the beginning of the album at the end, rather than having that there at the end. I feel like that Hex track at the end was a really strange one to end on. Maybe he was trying to go for something more hopeful at the end because it was so dark at the beginning. I don't know.
Well, sounds very pretentious. I just like the riffs because they made me do this.
I'm sorry. I have a master's in songwriting. At what point did you think this was not going to become really insufferably pretentious?
Well, I'm hoping that if I put enough things on like this, eventually I'm going to go, what did you think of that? And you'll just go.
Well, if we listen to Tom Waits,
You'll just go.
Maybe not in that rhythm, but sure.
Okay.
Or I'll just scream and pass out.
Okay. Sure. That's a thing that we can do. I'm sure people would thoroughly enjoy that. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Any comments on that album? Let's have a look. See what comes up here. I'll move it over here so I can actually bloody see. Never had good strings from a keyboard. Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't. So Craig, where you say that you think that good string sounds are easy to get from keys, I don't think they are. I think they never sound like real strings, I think is the important thing. And the criticism that you had is it had that MIDI feel to it, where you said GM MIDI feel. You have to spend a lot of money to get great string samples, right? Yeah. And even then, the amount of effort that you have to go to get the articulation to sound convincing is another thing entirely. So yeah. This was an album released on Roadrunner. You know, budget was there. They could have had real strings. Like, you work with real instruments for everything. You'd never fuck around with MIDI.
No.
If you need a full horn section, then, well, I wouldn't say if you need a full horn section. You have a full horn section in your band. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, of course, we could just replace that full horn section with me on the keyboard. I could just...
Sooner put a cigarette out of my ass.
Right in the centre. Yeah. Yeah, so what's it? Stuff you need probably to know it was yeah, okay, fine. One of the best. I love All Before Heritage. That's interesting. So we had somebody pop up earlier and say that this is their second favourite Opeth album, and I said, what's your favourite? And they said Heritage. So I respect that in a band, that they have just such different sounds from things that you split your fan base. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse to me than, like, you look at a band like Dream Theater, and 90% of the fans, if you say what's the best Dream Theater album, are gonna say Metropolis Part 2. Scenes from a Memory. They're all gonna say that. It's almost accepted among the fan base. It certainly was when I was in it, and everybody that I knew that was a big Dream Theater fan, you'd be like, what's your favourite Dream Theater album? And they'd say, well, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. And you'd be like, obviously Metropolis Part 2. I'm talking, like, ignoring that one, what would you put after that? You totally wouldn't get that with Opeth. Everybody's got a different answer, which is kind of cool. So amazing album. Hope to see them live in 2021. Yeah, I've not seen Opeth live, and you know what? I know lots of people that have seen Opeth live, and they all say that they're rubbish live.
Oh, no way.
Not that they sound rubbish live,
Okay.
just that they have no stage presence. They're focused on the performance of the music
Oh, well.
rather than the putting on a ridiculous show.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
I'd want to believe that they were incredibly charismatic and...
Swedish.
Is that what's wrong?
Is that racism?
Maybe.
Can't be charismatic. They're Swedish.
It might be racist.
I can't really criticise because I love so many Swedish bands. So many Swedish bands. Utter winners. They did the kind of the Scandinavian region of Europe. They did good in history. They brought this hairstyle into existence and the whole Viking thing. And then when they got bored of out doing the raiding things, made metal.
I love that time span there.
Yeah.
When they were finished being Vikings.
Yeah, all right. There was a gap
They
between
just
it.
made metal.
There was probably finished doing the raiding things, made things with metal, continued making things with metal.
Oh, I like
then
yeah.
was like,
Sure.
we're really good at making things with metal. Why don't we just make metal?
Why don't we make our own genre?
Yeah. And, so I think they're all
Keep the hairstyles.
pretty fucking good. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. One last time, please do go check out the link in the description to my Patreon page, grab a book, do whatever you want to do. It's all very much appreciated. Please do go and check out Melissa Kelly. That's Melissa Kelly with one S, one L, one S. Apart from Kelly, which has two L's in it.
Yeah, oh God. Don't confuse anyone.
But yeah, I'm sure you'll find her. And let me know what you think of her music. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will be back for another stream at some point in the nearish future. I'll go check out VPix as well, because, I love those guys. It's not a paid promotion, but I love those guys. I've worked with Vinny for a very long time, and I love everything he does. So go check them out. They deserve it. Cool. Anything you want to say?
Nope.
All
That
right.
was an awesome album. I will probably go and listen to it on my own at some
All
point.
right, let's try this, okay? Melissa, until next time.
Oh, bye, fuckers.
Take that, Mike, you bitch. Pees like a bitch. There you go.